do you think, Gene? That's just cool. All right, follow me to see something very, very rare. How rare? We're talking only 175 were made. The Yenko Deuce. And out of those 175 Yenko Deuces made, only 10 were made in the sunflower yellow. This is incredible. This is incredible. Mike, how are you, buddy? It is so good to see you. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you.
This is going to be an amazing episode of Car Shops and Collections. The Yenko Deuce. Well, officially welcome to Cars, Shops, and Collections. My name is JC, and every week we put the spotlight on some really cool cars. We're here for the 1970, the Yenko Deuce, but your 1968 GTX convertible, Mike. I mean, come on!
Yeah, I mean, both of these cars,
yeah,
right?
Seriously,
I mean, they just...
my mind's gonna explode.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this one, I mean, pretty rare car. GTX convertible, factory air, bucket seats, console, kind of a luxury version of the Roadrunner. Right?
Yeah,
so,
okay.
So these got a little bit nicer interior than the Roadrunner did, but equally as cool a car.
Yeah.
And then this is the original color called electric blue, and it is electric.
It pops.
Oh man,
It
the thing like
pops.
it glows in the dark type color.
And the stripes too. I love the blue on blue stripes.
Yep.
Holy
yep.
cow.
Magnum 500 wheels, the right red brake drums kind of set it off. But beautiful paint and body work, really a nice restoration.
Stunning, stunning. This one is still available?
It is still available. We're still doing a few things to it. Wipers got kind of stuck in place. We're trying to figure that out right now. But really a pretty high-end restoration on the car. It looks just like this on the bottom.
It sparkles to the sun too.
Oh yeah,
yeah, it sparkles.
Big block, 440. A pretty quick car in its day, but you know these things are big cars. You know, people think, oh, muscle car, you know, small. No, this is a full-size automobile, and then to have, so it needs this big block to pull it.
Okay, I love this. All right, let's focus, everyone. Let's focus. Yeah. We're here for the 1970 Yenko Deuce.
Yes.
This is 175 of these were made.
Right.
Okay. Give the backstory on what makes this car, or the Yenko Deuce, such a special car overall.
Well, so you're right, 175 made.
Yeah.
So Yenko was really known for big blocks. The big block Camaros. They also made a Corvair, Yenko Corvair, kind of another real oddball Yenko. Well, this is kind of more along that lines, right? So small block car. They sourced the LT1 350 out of a Corvette. Yenko convinced Chevy to go ahead and put it into the Nova, and then Yenko kind of did his treatments to it with the stripes. A lot of them, these are kind of an era correct, American racing torque thrust D. A lot of them had Magnum 500s style wheels, the 5 points.
Yenko badge down there?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
So, and now truth be known, like with this car, it is a clone.
It is a clone.
It is a clone.
It is a clone.
Right. So before everybody cringes and goes, oh, it's not real. Well, you know what? When you're driving it down the street, and this car in particular was cloned very, very well. Correctly dressed engine, correct stripes, correct interior, radio delete like it should be. So it by walking around it, if you didn't know, you wouldn't probably be able to tell the difference.
Watching right now, we showed you a good couple minutes of this. Could you tell it was a clone? I couldn't tell. So my day job is I work for CBS here in Las Vegas. I do the morning news and I do an afternoon lifestyle show. This is my way home from work. So twice a day I drive by your shop. Twice a day I'm looking in the garage. And it was yesterday, I sent you, you got a Yenko Deuce. I sent you a note right away. And you're like, I know. And then you tell me it's a clone. I mean, you can't tell just looking at it.
Hey, and you know what?
Can I open it up?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
So, I like clones. A lot of people turn their nose up at them. I like clones because you know what? This car performs equally as well as the original did, and you know what? You can get out and drive it and have fun with it. Because if this was a real, Yenko Deuce, you're looking at $150,000 plus.
Yeah. How many out of those 175? How many are still out there?
Probably not many.
Exactly.
Probably not many. Because a lot of guys, they bought these things and they took them to the strip, on Friday nights and they raced them.
It was a racer. They designed the mini muscle cars, and they kind of advertised the whole thing. And one of the biggest things is they fooled insurance companies, right? Because this started out as a base model Nova.
Yes.
And you can get it registered as a base model Nova.
Yes.
So the insurance company, like, oh, this guy's got an economy car. We're not going to charge him outrageous insurance.
Yeah. Little did they know.
Little did they know this thing is a beast.
Yes.
And I got excited when I opened up the interior because when you got a real Yenko Deuce, it was that rubber it wasn't fancy on the inside.
No.
It was base model.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But it is a 1970 Nova.
It's a 1972 Nova.
Is it real?
Yes.
Oh my God! Is it
Dressed.
really?
There really were very little difference between a 70 and a 72. The gentleman that built this car, he was looking for a 70, couldn't find one.
Yeah.
So he ended up finding a 72, and the big deal about this car was that it was it was a California car, completely rust-free, and that was what was most important to him, was to have a rust-free body, and that's what he got. And the nice thing about this car, it's all completely documented, the restoration, it shows that right down to the shell, completely stripped to bare metal with the original panels and everything. So
the Hearst shifter, which was part of the Yenko Deuce package.
That's correct, yep.
You break down the numbers, just speaking about the 1970 Yenko Deuce, 175 made. Out of these, 10 were the sunflower yellow, and 7 out of those 10 were the 4-speed.
Yeah. It's rare you could have gotten in an automatic.
Which does that make? There's only 3. Does it make the automatic more rarer, I guess? There's only 3 of them?
Yeah, I think that still the muscle car purists, they want a manual transmission.
4-speed.
Yeah.
And also has the tack on the hood.
Yep, that's correct.
The Yenko tack.
And that is the Yenko tack.
It is the Yenko tack?
Yes.
That's neat.
So even underneath the hood, they dressed it properly. It has the correct aluminum intake. It has the correct heads on it, the valve covers, air cleaner. They even duplicated all of the factory inspection chalk markings on the firewall.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, they really went all out to make it look authentic.
Is this the LT1 motor?
This is the LT1 motor.
Okay, yeah, it's the real deal.
Yeah.
It's the real deal. Do you know that they offered this springtime lineup of colors? We had the sunflower yellow, there was a citrus green, the hugger orange. Who painted that color? Did Chevrolet paint it?
Chevy still painted the color.
They painted the colors,
Yep.
okay.
Yeah, it was kind of a big thing because Chevy had that line of colors, and even Ford had a line of really bright colors available on, you mostly would see them on Mustangs, but they were available throughout the Ford line, and they were same thing. They were all these really bright colors. So I think it was kind of a 60s thing, and every manufacturer kind of had their own version of it.
Anyone watching when we walked up, did you know it was a 1972 Nova? I thought it was a 70.
Yeah.
I thought it was a 70. And this, how did he get away with this? Don Yenko, was it through the COPO program?
Almost through the COPO.
Almost like a fleet program.
It was through the COPO. So everything was all special order.
Yeah.
And delivered to the dealership, and then he did all of his conversion to it at the dealership level. So they just kind of got sent a base car, and then he did the changes to it.
Can you start it up?
Absolutely.
All right, let's shut it all and get the start up. It draws a crowd just having it parked in front of your shop, too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. What do you think, Gene? That's just cool. I'm sorry, clone or not, that is an awesome, awesome car and awesome sound.
He put a stock style exhaust on it, so it's not a particularly loud, as you would think this car would be.
Was the true Yenko Deuce, is that the dual exhaust?
Yeah,
okay.
Dual exhaust.
It is wild to me that it started as a base model Nova.
I mean, and you got to think in the Chevrolet line of cars, right? The Nova was the very bottom car.
Yeah.
I mean, it was the entry-level Chevrolet, that you could buy. But I also think that's what leads to a lot of of these cars' popularity, is that you know, this wasn't the big fancy car. This was the working guy's car,
Yep.
right? So Novas, I think, are really popular because most people relate to them, right? Because they made a lot of them.
Yeah.
And it's a car that sticks in a lot of people's memory. He even went to, even as far as putting these reproduction Firestone wide oval tires on this car. If you look at them, they're really skinny.
Yeah, they are.
For the amount of horsepower this car has.
Yeah,
You get squirrely really, really fast. But again, they wanted to create the authentic look. You know, if you really were out for performance, you put a modern radial tire on it, a BF Goodrich or something like that.
This is very period correct.
They wanted the look to be factory.
Also, the bench seat in the back, that was kind of like was it like a selling option too? You have room for your family in the back seat.
Well, yeah, even the bench seat. I mean, technically, these were a 6-passenger car.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, it was you know, pile your family into it.
It is so neat. It is so neat. So many episodes inside there.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Just a little peek. We'll come back. We'll come back. There's so many episodes inside here. Oh, there's the Charger. Sorry, the Charger.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to North Carolina.
Is it? This one sold fast.
Yeah.
Mike sends me a note. I got a Mopar.
This was a really neat piece. 380, number matching 383 4-speed car. The family that I bought it from had owned it since the early 70s, all in California. So the paint was, unfortunately, the paint's terrible on the car, but the body is fantastic.
Yeah.
You know, and that was with the guy that flew in to look at it. He goes, everything I'm seeing, you know, in the eastern part of the country, they're all just rusted to the gills, right? And he goes, when he saw this one and saw that it was an original California car and how clean the underbody and everything was, he was all over it.
I like that interior color too in the seats.
So the thing is that this car was originally white.
Oh, it
with
was.
a blue interior.
The blue interior that pops.
Yeah, really pops. So he's going to repaint it back to white, and then he's going to add a blue RT stripe on the back.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I can see that. This is new too, right?
But this was the other, the guy who bought the GTX.
Oh, he bought this one?
This was the other one he bought too.
And he bought this at Meekum here in Vegas.
Yeah,
And then he says, I don't want them.
Yeah, you know, a lot of times I don't ask guys why they sell their cars. It's really none of my business. So, but I don't know. He just.
Whoa, okay. Gene, show over on the inside.
So the interesting thing about this is that Chevy never made a crew cab style truck.
Okay.
In the 70s.
Yeah.
So in order to get this look in a Chevy truck, what they have to do is this thing started out as a 3-door Suburban.
Really?
Yeah. So they take the Suburban, big, huge, and they cut it down to make a cab out of it.
Okay.
And then they add a truck bed.
Whoa.
To it. So this is what it would have looked like had Chevy ever built it, but they didn't. So the weird thing about this too is it is still a 3-door. So drivers, only 1 door on the driver's side, 2 doors on the passenger side.
What's on the other side? Is
so
that,
here,
is that a door or is it?
Well,
what is this registered as? A Suburban or?
It's still technically titled as a Suburban.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the builder, and I don't know who built it, but they clearly had a sense of humor, because if you look at this, when the guy sent me the pictures, I go, no, that's clearly a 4-door. He goes, no, it's a 3-door. So, and I'm looking at the pictures, I'm like, no, what's the deal? They just put a pinstripe.
Did they
here.
really?
Yeah, to simulate the door.
Yeah.
And then they put a door handle on it. But the funny part about the thing is, it's the way to fool your friends, is that when they go, okay, get in, they wired this to the horn.
That's great. That is great.
Yeah.
Dude, open the door. Honk, 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 open the horn. What a crazy backstory on this truck.
Yeah.
That is so neat.
I mean, that's a lot of work.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a lot of work. I mean, to build, I mean, if you took a Suburban to a high-end custom builder and says, hey, I want you to build this, I mean, you're $100,000 to $150,000, like instantly.
So ingenious, though. The concept, how they built it.
And it works, you know, because sometimes guys, you know, they get these ideas in their head, and then they build the actual thing, and they look awkward, or the dimensions don't look right. To me, this looks like Chevy built it.
Yeah, it does. Fooled me. I didn't know.
Yeah.
How long? This is your dad's shop, right? Your dad started the business.
Yeah. So this is this year 44 years.
44 years. Las Vegas icon, man.
I'm the second generation to run it, and I'm getting ready to hand it off to my nephew, who's been with me for over 10 years.
Really?
He'll be the third generation to run the shop.
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it. So many people in Las Vegas turn to you. People across the country turn to you to sell their cars.
Oh, yeah.
To buy cars from you. We featured so many vehicles. You know, someone will pass away. The widow turns to you, puts their car in, trusts you. You get top dollar for them, and you take care of people, man, which I love. This is good stuff. All right, we'll be back. You know I'll be back.
Oh yeah, I know.
The Yenko Deuce. What a great episode. Of course, the Plymouth GTX. What do you want to see on the show? Let me know in the comments. Send me a message. We'll track down the car and feature it on Cars, Shops, and Collections. Thank you so much for watching. If you want your car, shop, or collection featured on the show, then shoot us an email at carshopsandcollections@gmail.com. That's carshopsandcollections@gmail.com. And thanks for watching, and be sure and subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes of Cars, Shops, and Collections.